Don't mind if you hear anything loud in the background. My animals both decided as soon as they heard your voice to come on over and hang out.
I love it. My animal, my cannoli puppy, is usually asleep on my couch behind me.
mhm.
But today he decided it was a great day to go run outside and chase after a raccoon. So I always say to myself, well, it's either a raccoon or a squirrel that's dying today.
Is that your dog very aggressive towards those small, needless animals?
mean, Cannoli's only 11 pounds. He thinks he's 60 pounds and he charges out the back door to these poor little squirrels and a raccoon, a chip, whatever he can grab, whatever he
Yeah.
thinks he can grab. Yeah, he's aggressive. He's a Morkie, so he's the what is it, the Yorkie and the Terrier mix, the
Mhm.
Maltese mix.
Okay.
So he's just such a hunter. My husband's always like, the dog wants to hunt. I'm like, what is with this dog?
Where you guys, I think the two of you need to take the dog out to see if it really has the hunting chops that you need. And if
I
it
know.
doesn't, maybe teach it to dig up truffles because apparently truffles are a big thing now in North America.
Yeah, I would love that. But he like, I'm the type of dog owner that like, the dog owners when you see them and they're like, I don't need a leash and
Hmm.
their dog follows them. I am not that dog owner and I want to be. My dog runs and I'll never get him back. And I don't know where he went. Like he just goes. So like I want to, but I'm so afraid I'll lose him.
Well, look, we're in the same boat. My dog is notorious. He's a pit mix. He hates walking. All he literally wants to do is run around and play. He does not like to walk. He barely likes to run with me. And like even now, we just came back from a walk. It was 30 minutes, and he was pulling all the way once we turned around to get back here. And I'm like, dude, you
Oh,
gotta chill out. Like
you
everybody's
gotta
already
get your
afraid of you.
you gotta get your daily steps in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, man. It's 30 minutes. We can do a mile and a half.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to Italian bread. This is your first special, your debut.
Yes.
Where is this coming from? How long had you been doing comedy, and what was that decision to get into this and release and partner up with Comedy Dynamics and do something like this?
Yeah, so I say it's a long time coming. And what I mean by that is I've worked many years in comedy houses and in theater.
Hmm.
So I'm not your typical comedian by any means. I would never say I'm a full-on comedian. Those guys are talented. That's tough. I'm more of I always say a storyteller in a theatrical form. So I'm working out my material, telling stories, impersonating characters. I grew up on, John Leguizamo's one man shows. I
Hmm.
loved them. My grandmother used to show me videos of Whoopi Goldberg, her one woman show, and I remember watching it and being like, I could do that. I don't know if I knew what I was doing at that age, but it was so inspiring to me to see someone morph into characters and then take you on a journey. And you literally felt like there was like 30 people on stage with her. It was just her,
Hmm.
but you just felt like it was literally an ensemble and you had an entire journey of characters. And I always wanted to do that. So for me, it was like a no brainer to write about my family because come on. I come from a
Yeah.
very big, loud, and dramatic Italian family with a ton of characters. So it was easy for me to and we make fun of each other all day long. So it was like, I'm making fun of mom, dad, and sisters and grandmas. And so that felt very organic. And then I wanted to somehow bridge the gap from the stand-up world and storytelling with theater because I grew up in theater. I have a degree in it in musical theater, and I wanted to sing. I wanted to sort of have this musical element that I've never seen in these one person shows before. I also loved Bette Midler's, spectaculars, and I was like, all right, somewhere in the back of my mind, if I can have that someday, it was just that full on entertainment by one person to me was just fun, like so exciting. So that's how it sort of started, and I did a lot of flopping in venues to figure that out. And then I did a lot of good stuff. But in the beginning, it was messy because I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. And you know how it works. If you're ever getting up on stage, something works and something doesn't, and you're like,
Right.
okay, I got to rework that story, or maybe that story isn't a good one, and I got to find something else. But a lot of it is me for sure taking you back on a journey of childhood and what it was like growing up. My upbringing is hilarious, but also very dysfunctional. And I don't mind talking about it.
I don't trust anybody who didn't have a dysfunctional childhood. Like
Oh, good.
those people are insane. Those people probably grow up to be serial killers. It's
Seriously.
yeah.
I had someone say to me the other day, I mean, I'm married for quite some time, but I've been together with my husband even longer. Like we've just been together. But someone said, "Oh, I've never fought with my partner." I'm like, "Who are you? Who are you? You don't yell?" I grew up yelling. My poor partner met my family being like, "I didn't realize you guys were fighting." I'm like, "We're not fighting." He's like, "What do you mean?" Like he didn't even want to come in to meet my family in the beginning years because he was like, "Why are you guys always fighting?" I'm like, "We're not." But we do fight. We do. But it's
Yeah.
more of like yelling. We're always yelling. So anyone who says to me, I don't yell, I'm like, yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Yelling is your white noise. Like someone had puts
Yes.
on a white noise machine. It's just like a bunch of screaming at each other to go to sleep.
Yes. And then somewhere in the middle of it, someone goes, "Why are you getting so upset?" And then everyone just goes away.
Now, for Italian bread, when you were working it out, what was it like having to? Because you're obviously close to the show, it's your life, it's all that. But what was it like cutting jokes for that? Because I imagine the writing process, you get to this point where you have a 2 hour show, then you go, I have to whittle that down. So the things that you had to kill, where did those go? Did you mix them up with other parts? Did you have to embellish in other areas?
Yeah, so I am constantly writing, as most, I think, writers, comedians, storytellers are. We're constantly writing and working on stuff, and some things work and some things don't. Italian Bread in the beginning years had a huge multimedia aspect to it, and I had some friends and um, I'm gonna say celebrities that were friends that were like, "I'll jump on in and do a cameo," and I would have a screen behind me,
Mhm.
and actors like Mario Cantone from Sex and the City would jump on the screen. You know, it was pre-recorded, but he would play the usher in a theater that my family took me to when we had my first Broadway show. I talk about that in my show, and the usher was this mean guy, and it was really funny. And Mario Cantone played him, and then I had to go to confession. And growing up Catholic, my grandmother hated confession. She didn't believe in it, and my mother swore by it. And I had Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos play the priest. And so I had these like multimedia elements in the beginning stages because I was like, I'm scared to stand up here alone. So let me just add a video behind me and maybe it'll feel like I'm not alone. So it really started as I was afraid. And I was also like, is anyone going to buy a ticket to see me? I mean, no one knows me. So I thought maybe that would help. And then it did in the beginning. And then it also then morphed into me being like, okay, I don't need those guys. I love them. But now I understand what my craft is. I understand what my talent is and what I want this show to be. So I started pulling the videos out. And then the multimedia aspect just became the screen with pictures to take you on the journey with me, whether it's, the picture of my mother's saucy meatball kitchen or it's the picture of, I fall down a well at one point and there's a picture of the well that I fell down, all childhood real stories, but that's sort of how it morphed. And then there was the band that came in with the music and yeah, but in the beginning stages, oh yeah, it was like this needs to go, that needs to go. And
Mhm.
now I get up there and my poor stage manager who runs lights, they're like, "You're changing it again." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "We're not going to do that story. We're going to do it." And they're like, "Oh my God." So my script is very messy at this point. It's like
Yeah.
200 pages of stories that get like pulled into because you only can do about, 50, 60 pages because that's already an hour and 20 you're up there. So I'm
Right.
like, the 200 pages gets somehow mixed around into whatever the 50, 60 pages is going to be for that performance. So yes, it's messy, my script.
I'm glad you call yourself a storyteller. You feel comfortable calling yourself a storyteller
I
because
do.
that reminds me of like, Mike Birbiglia. He
Yes.
is a comedian, but he has since basically more or less shifted towards storytelling. He does his shows on Broadway on these
Yes. I'm a
large.
big fan.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I think there's more room and nuance for that because comedy is an area, or even being on stage is just an area
Yeah.
where you can tiptoe the line between solo performer or somebody who at Todd Glass has a whole band on stage with him
Yes.
whenever he plays, whenever he does stand up. So it's yeah, there's a lot of waves to go through for somebody like you, and I think that's very exciting, and that actually makes me as a person in the audience want to come and see you more because at least I'm going to get a concise thing. Whereas with somebody else, if I took a chance on another comedian, it
Mm.
it could just be hit or miss.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that. It makes me giggle because every now and then I get someone, at the end of the show, I always like to come out and see the audience if I can. And I always joke, I'm like, please don't let anyone be sick because I'm hugging like 600 people. Because, they by the end of the show, they think they know me. They've just sat and watched all of these horrid stories about my childhood. So they're like, we're friends and we're hugging, we're hugging. And every now and then I'll get someone, and it's mainly guy and it's mainly an older man. I'm going to say somewhere around 50s, 60s, who's always like, I didn't know that I was going to laugh and I was going to cry in the same show. And I giggle because I'm like, thanks, bud, because you took the chance. You went on the journey with me. The best part about theater that I always want to bring to the table is that it's a journey. And like you literally have an experience within the hour and a half that you're like, oh my God, I just had an experience. I don't know what that was. It was hilarious. And I cried a bit. Oh my God, her grandmother, I cried and I laughed and all these things, but you have a journey. And that's the best part about theater. And you go see a Broadway show and you're like, oh my God, I just shut my phone for 2 hours. And it was so
Yeah.
great. And that's always what I want to bring to the table. So thank you for saying that, because every now and then when I get that one viewer that's like, I didn't know that that's what I was in for, it actually makes me feel good. Because like you said, it's storytelling and we're all such storytellers deep down. I really do
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah. Some of us are better than others. I don't think I could stand up on stage and talk for an hour and a half about my
I
life.
don't know. I don't know. You're a storyteller. You got to show your podcasts are storytelling.
No, no, I only ask famous people questions, and that's it. I don't I'm barely good at that. You mentioned Bette Midler, you mentioned Whoopi. What what show? And then you sing. I
Yes.
have to know the
Yeah.
musicals, the plays, whatever. What do you watch, or what do you like? What are your favorites? Mine are like Les Mis and In the Heights and
Yeah.
Hamilton. Which ones have stayed with you for your entire fandom of the stage?
Oh gosh. So I grew up on, for sure, Singing in the Rain was always playing. That movie with Gene Kelly was, yes. And then we migrated as I got older, Chorus Line, as I got a little older as a kid, like
Okay.
in my preteens. And then it
Yeah.
was, oh gosh, West Side Story and Music Man and the old traditional ones. I grew up on it, and then it morphed right into the Rent and Hamilton and In the Heights. And then as you're auditioning and being in theater, and I toured for many years, you find your groove and what makes, I will say, music to your ears, but what you love to listen to. I do love Les Mis. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the
I
best.
I remember the first dramatic Broadway show I saw as a kid was Miss Saigon. And I remember sitting there, they brought the helicopter onto the stage
Yeah.
from the ceiling. And I remember thinking, this is like the fact that these people get to do this 8 shows a week. I wanted that. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to just sit in the magical for as long as I could. So those things impacted me. And as a singer, I love singing all theater. I mean, it's something that's, we all have such unique sounds today.
Mhm.
When I first started in my early 20s, when I first started really learning auditioning and stuff, it was a very specific sound. They all wanted the same sound. And now I sort of feel like Broadway has morphed into this beautiful space of like, there is all different types out there. There is
Yeah.
something for everyone. And if I can keep on the journey of singing in storytelling, musical comedy is just where I want to sit and live all day long. I want to sit in a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels musical and giggle, Young Frankenstein, the Mel Brooks stuff, like all that stuff. It's just so fun.
Have you seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
Yes, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I missed, I call it, I missed the boat on that. I was like, I should have auditioned for that show. I never got around to it. I don't know what I was doing. I can't remember, but I was like, that
You'd
is
fit in
something
perfectly.
I should have been in that. I should
Yeah.
have had a quick something, but I missed the boat. But she's so talented. And yes, that is, I mean, that's the dream, the goal, the passion for me is watching someone. I also love to sit in the audience and watch someone story tell and then pull out a song that matches the story. Oh, I'm just in heaven.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you dropped Rent. I love Rent. Rent was, I would say, my first adult musical, and I was just
Yes.
thinking about this, but I love Rent so much. But Jonathan Larson died,
Yes.
and they did not. People, what I would have done if I were his friend, I would have gone back to his script and said, "Let's fix this up. Let's tighten it up a little bit." Because I have so many friggin' problems with that damn show. But you know
Yeah.
what? I love it. I love it. But still, I have so many issues.
You know what's it's so funny. There was that great I mean, yeah, not every script is stands the test of time, as they say, right? Like
Yeah.
you always go back, you go, oh my God, this needs to be fixed. But there was that beautiful movie that Lin-Manuel made, Tick Tick Boom, right?
Mhm.
The Jonathan Larson stuff. And that to me, there's a great moment in it. I think Judith Light plays the agent that he speaks to in this quick scene. And
Yeah.
she says something like, he's like, I put my heart into this show. And he's like, what do I do? She's like, can't wait to see what's next. Write the next one, and then you write the next one, and that is such a thing for writers and creators. It's like, in this world, I think everything moves so fast. We're always like, write the next one,
Yeah.
write the next, and it's like, holy crap, I got to keep going. But there is something to be said. What Rent did in that moment, right? It
Mhm.
just opened the door to that sound and
Yeah.
how Broadway doesn't have to be so traditional. It can be gritty and ugly and scary and dramatic. And to me, that's what it just opened such a door. I remember seeing it as a kid, being like, oh my God, they are talking about things I didn't think you were allowed to talk about on stage. I was such a pure kid. I will say that. It was pure, honestly. I should have messed up a little more. But yeah, I remember sitting there like blushing a bit.
Yeah. You're a kid in a yelly family.
And a yelly family. I mean, screaming Italian, yelling dramatics, for sure. But honestly, storytellers like Mike Birbiglia and even Sebastian Maniscalco, who
Right.
is a traditional comedian, for sure. I mean, those guys. That's a I would say a goal, and also too like I relate to them so much. I'm the female. I would say I'm the female point of view, but it's like, yeah, I get it, guys. I'm with you.
Yeah, no, and the female point of view is very important. This morning I spoke to another comedian, and she is a brown woman living in London, and I asked her about what it was like coming up as
Mm,
a comedian, with her her life, and she. While the race thing didn't play a big factor, the being a woman thing, she
yes.
noticed like completely because it is something that is different and I noticed with female presenting comedians, it can be more difficult to where you could be the only woman that is on the bill for that night, and
That's
it could
right.
be like on with like three other dudes, and then it kind of at some point feels like you have to make a statement, like you have to be the person to do something special
Yes.
or brash in order to stand out. But when in reality, you could be better than them and you
Yeah.
don't have to do all that stuff, but the audience is already coming in with oh, there's a broad up here, look at this dame do what she
You,
got to do.
she's so right for saying that. And I felt it, and I still kind of do feel it. There's moments when, I mean, I've had, oh gosh, producers, agents, and things, and audience members, and whatever, comedy club owners, all these things have said things like, well, why don't you talk about something interesting like your sex life? Or, why aren't you a little more exposed? And I'm like, why? Because I'm a woman, I have to do something that you want out of me. It was like a weird thing. And I got
Yeah.
that in the beginning. Oh, you're just talking about family. It's so boring. And I'm like, is it? It depends how you look at it, but I do think you're right. There's a stigma that I think women sort of have to, or I should say, baggage we carry, and you get up on that stage and they're like, well, I hope she makes a dick joke. I'm not going to make one. But,
Yeah, 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 exactly. And you don't need to. And then and also, it's like you're a mother, right? And
yeah,
and like you don't have to, your next project doesn't have to be about motherhood. It could be
right.
about more continued family things. It
It's
could,
true,
yeah,
right?
it could
It's
be about
funny.
anything.
I don't know if we do that with men. They become a dad and we're like, give us the dad jokes. I don't know if we do
Yeah,
that. I don't
yeah,
know. I think that, but with women, sometimes I think we do. We're like, you're at this point in your life, you need to say these certain things. And I also think, you get tied into the, how you look, how you present yourself. I once had an agent say to me, oh, keep your hair down on stage. It's sexier. And I giggled because I was like, I'm putting it up because I'm moving like a crazy person, imitating all these characters. I don't want it flying in my mouth. I don't want to choke, So I like have this long hair that I put up, and I've gotten slack for like, you could be voluptuous and have it down and look good. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that in a photo shoot. I can't do that on stage. I'm working here.
When you're moving on stage, do you ever feel like, and I assume that you said you're flying around. I assume there's a lot of jumping around. Italians use their
Yes.
hands. Do you feel like you're ever sore from all that movement? Because just running around would just seem like night after night would seem like it's so much to me.
I mean, I definitely at the end of the show, like most performers, I'm definitely like on a high where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a lot. And like if the show ends at like 10:30, 11 at night, I'm like, I can't go to bed in an hour. I have to like go eat. I gotta go out because you just have this high. But then I crash at like
Mhm.
somewhere around midnight. I'm like, I'm exhausted. Most of the time, because I make so many faces and characters, my I always joke that my lower back hurts and my jaw because I'm singing and I'm doing the characters and the voices, and some voices are deeper and higher. So my like neck and jaw feel it. So I do have like this little mini like neck massager that I'm using like before the show starts. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe that's where I hold my tension. But for sure, it's a physical show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a mess because I'm Italian and my hands are flying, my legs are flying. There's a trash can on stage with me that I throw myself in, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So yes.
How do you keep your vocal cords as a singer nice and lubricated? I started doing honey tea because
Mm.
because I've been talking to people for 13 years. So I've been trying to, just keep these nice and well oiled.
Yes, I'll give you another trick. Okay, so Manuka honey is great. Another, if you ever lose your voice and you're like, oh man, I got to get on a mic right now, apple cider vinegar and a little bit of hot water. So two tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and a cup of hot water will
Okay.
kill any crap on those cords so you can talk nice.
Uh-huh.
My other trick is a teaspoon of olive oil because the oil that I do right before going out on stage, if I remember. And if I don't remember, I'm like, someone get me a salty, oily potato chip. I need like two or three because there's something about the oil that keeps
Okay.
everything very happy in the cords. It's also my excuse to eat potato chips, but yeah, that's what I do.
What's your snack of choice before a show or after a show?
Anything with chocolate. My husband will joke that he'll be like, I bought you something for after the show. I'm like, if it's not chocolate, I don't want it. He's like, yeah, yeah, after the show. Because if I have it before, it's gonna be bad news. But yes, I love anything with chocolate and coconut, 100%.
Coconut's disgusting. What are you talking
Oh
about?
my God, chocolate and coconut is amazing. That's all I want to eat. I want to eat something dark chocolate with a coconut or even almond. I'll take the almond, but I want coconut.
Mm, mm. I think like if I was ever on Survivor, I could do the show, I could do the physical stuff, I could do the puzzles, eating
You
the
can't eat the
coconuts.
damn coconut off the
Yeah,
tree.
it's disgusting. I
Buddy, I'm
drink the
so
water.
sorry. Dude, you drink the water, but
I
you
would drink
can't.
the coconut water.
Okay. No, we
Yeah.
can't go to like like those yogurt places with the toppings and oh, I'm
Yeah.
coconutting my whole frozen yogurt.
The little shaved
Oh, I
pieces.
love it.
Oh, and the texture, I just hate the texture.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
of course,
gosh.
I'm also slightly OCD because I'm like, I'm definitely going to get sick because everyone's coughing all over this shit. And I'm putting it all on top of my ice cream.
Yeah, look, it's disgusting. Like even I was at the gym this morning and I said hi to some people and we dapped it up and I was like, okay, you better not have the
Oh,
flu.
did you have your Purell? Always
Yes,
have
yes,
something.
yes. I
Have
have my
something.
bag has a Purell in it and it's fantastic. Every
Oh,
time I
good.
leave, I'm just
Yeah, 100%. I went to go get an iced coffee this morning. I know it's cold, it's winter, and I still get an iced coffee. And the people online were standing so close to each other. Even the woman behind me was so close to me. I'm like, wait a minute. Did we not learn anything from COVID? You're coughing and you're up my back right now. I'm like, can you take a step back? What, 6 feet? What happened? Out the
yes,
window.
yes, exactly. Where are you in on Staten Island? Are you in New York, the
I
island of
am
Manhattan?
in New York.
Okay.
I grew up born in Brooklyn, grew up on Staten Island.
Uh,
Then sort of did the New York City living for a bit. And now I literally bridge the gap between LA and New York. I sort of fly back and forth. And my family moved to Jersey.
okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. Does that work for you? Like, so, because I see the podcast set up, and I know you and Sarah
Yeah,
have
I
Don't
have a
Start back
podcast.
there. I
Yes.
did my research.
Oh,
Look at
you
me.
did your
Yes.
homework.
Yes. I see
Uh,
two beautiful women hosting a podcast. I jump right in. It's too many white guys host a podcast.
I love Yes, Sarah is gorgeous. We do. We host a podcast together. We have so much fun and we sit on the couch right behind me. I love it.
Has that been something that you guys have been enjoying? Because I know it's fairly new. It's like 30 some odd episodes,
It
right?
is. It's new for us. It's something that we wanted to do 2 years ago,
Okay.
but we went through such battles. She lost her dad. I ended up going through a hell of a fertility journey. And
Mhm.
we both just were like, oh, we want to do this, but we couldn't, it's work, as you know,
Yeah. Hmm.
to find the time. And then we had these moments where we were like, okay, I think we're over the hurdle.
Okay.
I finally gave birth to my son. She sort of had this huge career boost, and we looked at each other. I said, I think my comedy special is going to come out in a year. And she said, you know what? Let's do it. So we finally sat down. I mean, we've been best friends since, oh God, for 20 years now. So it was something
Wow.
that came natural to just sit and chat and talk. I mean, we can talk all day long, but it was like, I was like, at some point we have to stop this record. Like that's literally how when we're
Yeah.
recording, I'm like, we have to shut up. But it's fun. I enjoy it. I also enjoy meeting people like
Mhm.
you, right? Having to get a chance to meet someone great and have a conversation. We love that. So it's been a lot of fun.
And is it, I when I started this, so I started C plus comedy and I started doing everything surrounding it, I found that it was tough at first because there wasn't a blueprint for what I was doing. And then, 5 or 6 or 7 years later, suddenly things started picking up, not just for me, but for everybody else that kind of joined in on the fun. And
Yeah.
now that I'm 13 years in, literally every single person, there's probably like 17 other people in my complex recording podcasts right now. What like do you guys find it? It's easy to talk, but that drive to get there to actually sit down and do something and make something, interesting that people would want to listen to, is that something that you're still have you come to a point where you're going, what are we doing this week, or what are we
I
going to
know
do
what
in,
you're
in two
saying.
weeks?
Yeah, there's a lot of pre-production of this, right?
Yeah.
Like that people don't see what's going on behind. You're discussing what guests we should bring on, who we want to
Mhm.
talk to, what we
Right.
want to talk about this week. I will say everyone's got a podcast. That was a joke I said to Sarah immediately. I'm like, so we're just going to do the thing that everyone else is doing. And she was like, yeah, but we want to talk. I'm like, I think there's this beautiful thing in the world where there's enough room. There's enough room. And like you said earlier, there's enough room in comedy. There's enough room in podcasting that I think it's a wonderful thing to find something for everyone.
Right.
So deep down, do I think every person's going to listen to my podcast? Probably not, but that's okay. Someone will listen to Sarah and I chat. Someone will come watch me perform and get a kick out of it and enjoy their night with their family. And I think for all of us, there's a TV show. There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
I do say people don't realize how much work podcasting is until you
Mhm.
start to really do it. You're like, this is a lot of work. And there's also a lot of pre-production and all that, but we've been enjoying it so far. We haven't hit that wall yet. I'll let you know if we do.
That's good. That's very optimistic. And what I also notice is that you're good on your own doing the solo show. You're good with another person with a podcast, and then I've never seen you perform on stage in Broadway with other people. But it seems to me that you really enjoyed that. What's that transition? Are you good at balancing act of being with 20 other people on stage, one other person on the couch, and one person on the stage with you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I feel like when I first started, first of all, I love to collaborate. I love people. I mean, that's why we're all in sort of this business of people.
Yeah.
Performing, I love it because I love the reaction of people. And I'm like, oh my God, that made them laugh. Oh my God, that woman's crying. Whatever it is, I enjoy that. So in the beginning, performing a one person show is weird because it is just you, and I wrote the script backwards and forwards and all that stuff, and I memorized it, but there's still that moment where you're like, whose line is it? And you're like,
Hmm.
all right, it's my line. It's like, it's just you. So I had to find, and it's taken me a bit, and I've said this before, where I was like, who the hell is my scene partner when it's just me? I started to fall in love with the characters because
Hmm.
that I'm impersonating. Those are my partners. And then the audience became my partner. And now I feel like I'm up there with a million people and I feel really great about it. So in the beginning, it was weird. And then as I started to really work the material, it morphed into something great and I enjoy it so much. But I do love a good collaboration. I'm also a writer, so I'm always writing scripts and
Yeah.
I'm working on a Broadway show and we're doing all these things. And it's like, I love collaborating with people. So that is very exciting too. So I'm a mix of both. And
Yeah.
sitting down with Sarah, just, well, that's just some good old fun with a cup of coffee. I'm in.
Yeah. I know I noticed that you are a creative person mostly because your Instagram is just filled with like sketches of you know, this is what Italian women do and this is what Italian families do. I think it's all very funny because you know, I've dated a lot of or a couple of Italian women. So
Oh, you came out
I
alive.
understand. Yeah.
You've survived.
Yeah. Oh, they ruined me for every other type of woman there is.
Honestly, you're so screwed. My husband says that all the time. He's like, once now being with you, it's over. I'm like, it is.
It
You
is.
will never be the same.
Yeah, mostly because we're married, but
Yes, but it's over as well.
well, Candice, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'm excited for people to see Italian Bread. I'm excited to see it myself, or even listen to it. But thank you so much. You're very talented. You're very genial, and I
Thank
just can't
you.
wait to see what you do next.
Oh God, you're so kind. Thank you for having me on. It was so fun to
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, of course. I only have people on that I think are going to be interesting, and that is you.
Dude, I don't blame you. I feel the same way. Who wants to talk to someone boring? But
All
I
right.
appreciate the compliment.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. All right. You have a good rest of your day.
Oh, you too, Chad.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.